Well, popular music is the soundtrack of my life. I'm Tom Walker from Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up in Shively. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I have 5 younger sisters, which have always been a great influence on my life. I went to public schools here, University of Louisville. And now I have a career in real estate and I play music quite frequently. Well, I grew up around music. My mother was a very good pianist and she gave piano lessons at home, so I always heard music. She was a big music lover and played lots of music from the 40s and the 50s. The radio was always on. When I was 13 years old, on Sunday in February of 1964, I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And I had never really thought about playing music. There was just something about that appearance that inspired me to do it. I had been saving money by cutting grass to buy a new baseball glove, but instead, the Saturday after I saw the Beatles, my father took me to S.E. Davis Pawn Shop and I bought a cheap guitar. And a neighbor friend who had taken lessons showed me how to play. Interestingly enough, I play music with him to this day in the Amber Martin band. His name was Steve Meyer. So Steve taught me how to play music and we formed a band in the summer of 1964. And the band became popular. We played at team dances and the band evolved from member to member, etc., etc. And I played with that band all through high school. And then in probably 1968 or 69, I joined a band with him called the Leaves of Autumn, which was together until the mid to late 70s. And that band, we played over 100 gigs a year. I think in 1975 we played 126 gigs, and this was just part-time. So music has always been a part of my life. I had a big inspiration for me. I play music. I have music on all the time at home. I play bass guitar with the Amber Martin band, with the Decades, with the Last Band Standing, and sometimes substitute for other bands. I'm always practicing learning new tunes, and it's something I've always enjoyed doing, and I plan to continue to do it until I can't stand up on stage anymore. So, and at this point in time, I'm 74 years old, and as I had mentioned before, I have played in bands for 60 consecutive years. And I have no plans on quitting. The equipment that I carry is a lot lighter than it used to be, but I'm still out there playing music and what is now classic music, classic rock. I played those tunes when they were brand spanking new on the radio back in the 60s and 70s. So it's been a great run. Well, got up fairly early. My parents were very hard act to follow. They were on the job all the time. My father worked and my mother stayed home. So we had a very structured life and a lot of playtime. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't go to camp or to the movies very often, but we played in the neighborhood, played sports. We ate dinner. My father got home from work at 5 o'clock, and he wore a jacket and tie to work and a hat, and he'd walk in the hallway, take off his hat and put it in the shelf, take off his sport coat and hang it up, loosen his tie, and dinner was on the table every day. And so we always had lively dinner table discussions. So led a very structured life. And, my parents would encourage you to try new things. And they instilled you with the belief that there are no limitations. I started cutting grass when I was probably 11 or 12. And I had a lot of yards to cut. And then in 1963, I guess it was 63 or 60, I think it's 64, and I was saving to buy a baseball glove. And then I was just struck. I wanted to play music. My mother played piano. So my father took me to a pawn shop that weekend, and I bought a guitar. By that summer, I had a band, and I played all through high school. That was my summer job most of the time. I had played 1 or 2 band jobs a week. I have played music in bands for 60 consecutive years this year. And I've done it for a living on several occasions, traveled all around the country on tour and that kind of thing. And I still play in 3 bands. Last week I had 2 band jobs. This week I play tonight, I play Sunday. Next week I play Friday and Saturday. So I get in 75 to 100 band jobs a year. So it's a great hobby. So I say music has kind of been my summer job for years, as well as pulling weeds. I have 5 younger sisters, and we grew up in Shively here in Louisville. Let's get out of the way to let him come down. So my father worked at DuPont, and my mother stayed home and had a great family life. My parents were happily married and, passed away a little early. My dad passed away when I was 24. So we had 5 girls at home. So I walked a few girls down the aisle when they got married. But I have 5 sisters, and my sisters have always been a great inspiration. They are very intelligent and very successful women, and I talk to them every week, and we're all lucky enough to still live here in town. My mom, I would say the greatest advice my mother ever gave me when my wife and I were dating and I brought her home for the first time. My mother said, "Now that's a woman. If you don't marry a girl like that, you're a damn fool." So that was a pretty good piece of advice. And my mother would always say, the world is meant for 2. I always remember that. And her and my father were very happily married. So we grew up in that environment where people get along. And so she was right about my wife. My greatest goal is to get up every day and be healthy and continue to do what I've been doing. I'm old enough where whatever I'm going to be, I've already been there. I've already done that. So it's kind of continue every day. Just get up and always be curious, always be of good humor. I enjoy gardening. So my goal is to keep doing that type of thing. I've found what works for me. A new water service to it this year. It had an old water line that ran through our property all the way down the hill that just over a period of time corroded. So our neighbors were nice enough to give us an easement. So we came here and drilled under the road and hooked up to a new water main over there. So that was a big project last year. So last year we had lots of big projects. Getting ready for that garden show, renovating the exterior of this house, clearing that land, putting in the water line. This year, not so much. So this is a nice quiet year. Well, I feel pretty good. I'm not worried about it. In fact, the fact that I'm still here, is a good thing. What I notice about age, I have a lot of experience, and experience only comes one way, and that's by doing it. So I figure that's the privilege of being older. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of insight that I didn't have in my 20s or 30s. I approach music differently. I think about how to play more simply with more feeling, how to strip everything away but the essentials. And I think that that's what age and experience give you. But I'm not afraid of getting older, never have been. I have earned every one of these gray hairs. And if I, had my life to live over again, I think the only thing I would change is in 1991, I could have bought this great Les Paul guitar and I didn't. Other than that, I might change that. Other than that, everything else, I'd probably stay with. Sold the property, and then I was fortunate enough to buy it back in 1997 and lived here ever since. Well, even gardening is a form of music. It's really interesting that if you go out there and play classical music, around plants or house plants, in my opinion, they do better. So there's these sympathetic vibrations, and it's the everywhere around you is music. You may not hear it, but you feel it. And that's another thing about music. It's that music is, you feel music. You feel the physical sensation of the vibrations, but there are other vibrations that go on in your head that you sense. And I think that's really true about gardening. I mean, you can read about gardening all you want and be an expert, but you have to get out there and do it. And there's this creative instinct about it, about redoing houses. It's the same thing. It's you kind of hear the rhythm, and there are certain songs that I will think about while I'm doing something, and I will hum them in my head. They seem to go along, with what I'm doing. So it's music is a magical thing in that aspect, and I can go into a certain room and feel a song. I know that may sound crazy, but I can go outside on a certain day and it would relate to a song. Or when I go outside and play music, or go outside and work in the garden, I always have music going on in my head. Or if I was out jogging or exercising, it's staying alive. There's just natural rhythm to life that music just encompasses. And I've always thought that I could express my life almost every moment in a particular song. Like you're experiencing something in life, and it's like there's a song that goes along with it. And interestingly enough, when I first started dating my wife, I went out on that first date, and she was getting ready. What I would always do is I would look at her records, or anybody I went out with, I would look at their records collection. And she had everything from Pure Prairie League to Pavarotti. I thought, well, I could marry this girl. I could see her record collection joining my record collection. And so taste in music was always a very big thing. And my wife has great taste in music. And that was instantly one of the first things that impressed me about her.
Is there any success in your life that makes you see life different?
Yeah, I've had, I think, some business success, which has been very gratifying. I have played in some really big bands and, made some recordings that were popular. And in the 80s, I played in an immensely popular band and traveled with that band and played some great concerts. And at that time was making some great cutting edge music. And that affects you. Not everybody in the world gets the opportunity to do that. And, for that brief moment in time, you don't get caught up in it, but you're thinking, wow, I've helped create this, this song that everybody is talking about. And you would play these places and they would be sold out and everybody is there. And you would see t-shirts with your pictures on them. And literally people would wait outside your house for you to get home. So, I've always thought that there was a degree of popularity that was pretty gratifying. And, I always looked at it kind of as a third person. I always knew it would always be fleeting. And it didn't really matter if it lasted forever, just to be able to have that experience for a few moments. So, yes, I would say life-changing experiences without a doubt.
How different do you see life when you were 20s comparing how you see it now?
Oh, and when I was 20s, I just thought anything was possible. And I've been lucky genetically to always be pretty optimistic. So I think that is carried on. So, if you're optimistic in your 20s, it's like, wow. But I would think about lots of things that I wanted to do and would do. And I would say I've done more than a few of them. You know, I think everybody has a bucket list of things you want to do. And in my 20s, that bucket list adjusts as you get older. But I would say that I've had a lot of life experience. I've done a lot of things. Some things I undo, but I did them nonetheless and learned from them. You know, so I think that the great thing about being in your 20s is that there are so many possibilities. When you get older and you gain more experience, you can understand how to make those things happen. So that's the thing about getting older, is there's this degree of experience that you have earned. That experience enables you to accomplish just about anything that you want to accomplish. And when you're in your 70s, you know, you've been around. You really understand a lot of things. But more importantly, you understand what is important. There's a lot of things that kind of fall by the wayside. There are things that you thought about in your 20s and 30s and 40s that seem frivolous now, but it's part of the evolution of a person. So I think every day you live, you pick up something. And music gives you a reason to have a purposeful life. And that people always talk about success. The real success in life is not this goal that you attain. It's having the goal, but every day working toward that goal. That's really what success is. When you finally reach that goal, it's an anticlimax. It's time for a new goal. So every day in your life has meaning because you're working towards something. If you're a musician, you're working toward being better, you know, practicing a little bit every day. If you're a songwriter, you're working on writing the next song. You may not have written it yet, but just the fact that you get up and keep doing it, that's what makes you a success. That's what gives life purpose. So it's never really the attainment of the goal. Its success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And I've had a lot of goals. Some of them I never achieved, but a lot of them I did. And I look back on them and I always think, you know, time for a new goal. It's time to figure out, you know, something else. And musically, I think I'm a fairly decent bass player, or at least I'm employable. It was called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a thickening of the heart muscle. And there was an operation that I could have that was different and it had a lot of risks. And it would correct that problem. In essence, my left ventricle, there was muscle growing in the ventricle, making it smaller and less blood was pumped out. And if I would have done nothing, I would get to the point I couldn't even walk up the steps or walk across the room. So I chose to have this riskier procedure. My wife trained all the people that did it, and it worked. But I was in intensive care for six days, and I had a chance to think about my life. And to that point that you're talking about, I thought that, wow, I've lived a pretty good life. And, you know, if you're in the hospital, you have a lot of time to think. And, you know, I thought, well, gosh, I've done a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, a lot of risky stuff. Some didn't work out and some did.
Probably after your procedure, you see life different, right? Because
Exactly. And I thought to myself, just what you were saying, I said, I'm going to get better. You know, and I would say to myself, you know, I am going to get better and I'm going to get out of here. And there were some I was pretty sick, maybe not where you were, but I would say that there, was one night when blood pressure was dropping, and the doctors called my wife, to ask her for advice because she trained them all. But to me, I still was thinking, not a problem. I'm getting better, and I think that's part of it. But positivity, it bridges gaps in people's life. It is an energy that comes to life. It is a mental energy that you bring to yourself. And sometimes being positive, there's no reason to be positive. Everything is going to hell in a handbasket. But still, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it draws you there. I never thought I would ever live like this. And positive energy is where it comes from. And the ability to visualize things. Yes, it's God gives you energy. And my kids would like to, I grew up Catholic and, pretty devout Catholic. My kids went to Catholic schools and, they love to toy with you and say, well, I don't believe in God. I think that's what teenagers like to do to piss you off. And I would say to them, well, just imagine this. You have to have surgery. And this surgery is so dramatic that there's a tremendous possibility that you would die on the operating table. So the skill of the surgeon means everything. So imagine this. You can choose from surgeon A or surgeon B. They both have equal skill. Surgeon A has this devout, powerful belief in God, and surgeon B doesn't believe in God. Who would you choose? That's
The one who believe in God.
right, because the belief in God, when you're up against the wall, God gives you hope. Whether it's God that gives you hope or you derive hope by believing in God, it's the same thing. It's an energy that you are able to tap into. If you don't believe in God, you can't tap into that energy. And all of us have these moments where things look bleak and hopeless. And to be able to say, God, I need your help. To have just a casual conversation, to need your help today. I'm going to face some tough stuff today. I need your help. That plugs you into a new source of energy. And that's, to me, what belief in God is. It opens up infinite possibilities, ability to change things, ability to grow into something. And I used to always kid the kids when they were growing up, Power Rangers and all this stuff. And I would say, you have to learn in life to have the power, to get the power. And I would always make this joke. We'd be in the car and I'd point to the sunroof and I'd press the button and it opens up and I'd say, see, that's the power. But jokingly, I would say, the power, as they got older, I said the power, I would always talk to you about that. Like you would see Star Wars and all this stuff. But it's tapping into this subconscious reservoir of power. And that's really what belief in God is. Religion is just the symbolism, the method. The holding a Bible is a symbol, but it's a symbol that helps you get there. And I think that that's a very important thing. my back flips are really bad. And you know, not only that, you've probably done this, you take the bass and you
Swing it around, yeah.
swing it around and catch it. I mean, it takes a lot more concentration. And so this is Fitness 19. And I think it's a great place. There's a lot of older people that come here during the day, night. You know, it's really packed. They got great trainers here, and they kind of know just what you need. And when I started coming here, I lost a lot of weight and just thought, you know, it's time to get in shape. It's hard to do for yourself.
You gotta follow. All right, kick it up inside. Bearcrest pretty close. Is that tonight you said?
Yeah, tonight.
And then Cook Kentucky Kingdom on Sunday.
So
That's tomorrow.
tomorrow is a trophy lesson day. Last night I had to go to the residence center in Erie, and then tomorrow night is the surf boot camp.
Where is that at?
Tomorrow night's Louisville. But the momentum is called inertia. And if you have inertia, you're either not doing anything and you're flat on your butt, but inertia keeps you propelled. And if you have inertia, you will always find another opportunity. And my kids always say, I'm the luckiest person they know. I always tell them, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And chance favors with prepared minds. Get over here so you. Lucky people, things happen to them because they're out there tracking that stuff. And lucky people fail more than anybody. The difference is you learn more from failure than you do from success. Just like get back up. You just get back up on your feet and go out and do it again. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. It's going back.
Yeah, we're going to feature our bass player on a song right now. And where's the camera person?
Tommy
Come on.
Walker. Tommy Walker.
Doing Tommy right now, you know.
Get some speeches.
We're going to, okay, too late.
No pressure or anything, you know. None whatsoever. All right. You guys are going to like this song.
I like the hour. Go
I
ahead.
think y'all. All because I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass. I ain't no son, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to do. 'Cause I got that boom boom that all the boys chase, and all the right jump, and all the right places. I got the magazines, working the Photoshop, innovation ain't real. Come on, make it stop. If you got beauty, then raise them up. 'Cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yeah, I'm talking about you, don't be so nervous about yourself. Say the boys that I oh, baby, I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that.
Okay, there's a question that I ask everyone. If there was reincarnation, what would you like to be your next life?
I would like to be exactly what I am. Yeah. You know, I would say that I'm a pretty happy person, always has been. And I married a pretty happy, accomplished person. And I truthfully can't imagine much better than the way things are now. You know, so if I would like to be reincarnated, I think it'd be okay to come back just like this. You know, I really haven't thought much about that. I think I'm too busy living. But I would think that it would be an honor for people to think you were a good husband, good father first, and then, you know, a creative person. And I think maybe, you know, I have a garden I've worked on for 27 years, and maybe that would be sort of a remembrance. But I think that a good remembrance for anybody, at least in my estimation, is that you've occupied this space as fully as you can. I don't think I have any magnificent accomplishments or anything like that, but I have a lot of little things that I've done. Well, my favorite part is after setting everything up in the heat. It's, you know, the downbeat, that first song. And no matter, the great thing about playing in a band, no matter how many times you've done it, every gig is a little bit different. And it's different because of the time of the year. It's different because of what people have done that day. It's different because where you're playing, the mood of the audience. So it's kind of a new discovery. You start playing in that first song. I mean, you know the song, but it's how it hits everybody, what the reaction is, what the acoustics are in the building. So everything, it's old, but it's new. It's songs have a lot of meaning for me. First of all, when you play them, you really kind of know that song inside out. All the structure, all the chords, the keys. So it has this effect. It's interesting. I've never really thought about it. Its music has just always been there. I can't imagine what life would be without it. But music to me, I hear it on the radio and it just does something to me. There'll be certain songs that really catch my attention that I'll tell the people in the band, boy, this is a song that we should do. And I have to always be learning new material. I love to practice. I love to hear the music and play it. But music for me, if I'm down, which is not very often, it's just always inspiration. So I think I'm always looking for new music as a form of inspiration. And even in the real estate business, I used to always, if I was going on an appointment, I would always say to myself, it's showtime. So everything to me relates to music and playing in a band.
Was there any down point where you want to just give up and say, this is not?
No, there was never a down point. I never thought I was particularly good in relation to a lot of great musicians in Louisville, but I think everybody has one signature characteristic, and mine was I was always pretty persistent and never gave up, and I just always knew that the goal was never to be the best, but it was to be the best that I could be. And so I think that I probably play music to about 98% of my capacity, and I'm certainly not the best, but I get to play a lot, so I'm employable. So music to me was this microcosm of life. You keep at it, and when you're practicing, when I practice, I always suck because I'm practicing out there at the edge of my ability in that gray area where I don't really know the songs. I'm always pushing myself forward. And then one day you'll play that same song, you'll be playing a band job, and it's like, wow, I've really got this down. And it's always that's inspiring, because I remember when I first heard it and I couldn't play it or I couldn't figure it out. And now I go out and play it and it becomes second nature. And I would always tell my kids when they were doing their homework, they were going to have a test the next day, and I'd say, well, do you know it? And they said, yeah, I know it. I said, well, it's kind of like playing in a band. You sit in the living room and learn a song, and you think you know it, but then you go out in the band job and play it out in front of people. So there's knowing it and there's knowing it. So that's what music is to me. And when you really know the song, not to be philosophical or anything, but you just really get inside of it and you pick up these nuances that you never really heard before when you heard it in the radio, but you're playing on. There's these subtleties, there's this meter to these songs, this tension in these songs, and that's what pop music is about, but you sense that.
Do you think that your career made a difference to your kids' life?
Yes, I think playing music has made a difference in my kids' life. They all play something, and when I was raising them, my wife would be working, I would take them to band jobs, and there would be, I remember once when they were younger, I think my daughter might have been 12 and the boys might have been 8 or 10, and I was playing a concert at French Lick, and so we went up there and stayed all night. And during the concert, I had them go back in the green room to eat from the buffet to keep them occupied while I played. So they've had a lot of interesting experiences. And I was thinking that on my 70th birthday, or right around there, I was playing at Gerstl's with the Decades, and all my kids were out there. And I thought, wow, this is so cool. I'm 70 years old, and here are my children now in their late 20s and early 30s out there dancing and setting up shots of whatever and getting up on the stage and playing tambourine. So yeah, I think it's made a difference. And my wife also plays piano, so music has always been here. And when I would take them to school, like we would have reggae week. And when I took them to school, I would play nothing but reggae music. We would talk about reggae music. And then one week was James Brown week. And I would play on the way to school James Brown songs, and we would talk about them and dissect them. And I think my kids have a pretty good understanding of music. So they inspire me, especially when they were in college. They would send me playlists. They would tell me, Dad, you guys should be playing this song. And what was interesting, it wasn't necessarily the latest music. It was some golden oldies that they had heard that I hadn't heard in years. And I would think, wow, they have very eclectic tastes in music.
How would you like to be remembered for your grandkids?
Probably as an all-round guy, somebody that has always tried a lot of things, maybe never been an expert in any of them, but just always had well-rounded interests and not afraid to try new things. And hopefully they get a green thumb, which I inherited from my father. And that may pass down in generations, who knows. In one word, joy. Yep. Music is a joyful expression. Even the sad songs, there's joy in that. And what's so cool about music is, in a period of 3 minutes, you can explore every emotion. And tonight we'll probably end up playing about 40 songs that range from frenetic dance activity to the rebelliousness of the 60s, to the joy of ABBA, to some really sad country songs. So when you're out there playing, you get to experience all those emotions in the course of an evening. So when I pack up and leave and driving home, there's always this feeling that I get, and I would say it's joy to having done it. It's elevated my existence. And when you're really playing well, my wife would always say, gosh, why do you continue to do this? It's, especially right now, it's really hot, and I have a lot of outside band jobs in the 90s, and they are tough setting up, and they're tough to play. And when you leave, you're drained, and then you do it tomorrow. But there's this thing about playing ensemble, playing in a band, and I always called it like flow, getting in flow, and you're playing with good musicians. And sometimes you're in flow. Everybody is playing together. Everybody is of one mind, and they are right at that moment really into that song. And you can feel this energy, and it is addictive. So I would say one of the reasons I play is to experience that feeling. And I'm lucky enough at this age, at this place in life, I'm playing with a lot of good players. And that happens, sometimes if it only happens for one song or half a song, it's worth it for the whole night. But I'm lucky enough to be playing with some people that are just so locked in that you're having this incredible group experience.
There you go. You give me something that I can hold my own. I know you think I'm like the others before. You say you never not go on the wall. Journey to the world that you're for me. You mean that you make me so happy. I tried to call you before, but I lost my nerve. I tried my imagination, but I was disturbed. Oh no, I need to be the change. You're in six, you're not, you're so sick about you're so sick about you're so sick about I got it, so one more time, one more time. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Anybody can leave that gun. Right over there. With the baby right music, everything is fine. We get frustrated. You are the blessed queen. You're the queen of the melody. Feel the beat of the tambourine. What you do, without your queen. It's easy to turn on. We can let them you grow.
I'm ready.
Already. Okay, let's go.
Hey, I'm gonna have that do so. That was a great song. Hey, what's up, guys? How was the gig, dude? I heard you guys. Y'all sounded amazing. Shit, yeah. How you all doing? I got so much shit to carry. Hey, you guys sounded great, my friend. Hell yeah. 109. Oh, all right. You know what? Thanks, buddy. You know, got my voice right to the edge where I don't necessarily. I just want to run it right out.
but the momentum is called inertia. And if you have inertia, you're either not doing anything and you're flat on your butt, but inertia keeps you propelled. And if you have inertia, you will always find another opportunity. And my kids always say, I'm the luckiest person they know. I always tell them, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Lucky people, things happen to them because they're out there tracking that stuff. And lucky people fail more than anybody. The difference is you learn more from failure than you do from success. That's what getting back up. You just get back up on your feet and go out and do it again. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Is going back and